Hello everyone, welcome to this month's Minecraft recap for January of 2025. Now this month has a pretty good amount of stuff to cover, so let's get right into it. Now in the first few weeks of the year, they dropped a brand new Ambient update, and they included quite a few new things. The first of which is these wildflowers here, which can have up to 4 placed in a single block, just like the pink petals, except they are yellow and white. Another similar block is leaf litter, which can just be found around in the wild, same with the wildflowers. And yeah, same thing, just like the pink petals, they can be placed up to 4 in 1 block space. Now, you can see these little leaf particles floating down from the trees, and that is because leaves now have a nice little ambient texture to them. So if we were to just pillar up a bunch of leaves here, you wouldn't really see them with 1 block, but if you placed a bunch of blocks around it, then you would begin to start to see some particles falling down. You see, the more leaves that are in one area, the more particles will begin to fall. Now, probably one of the most substantial things that was introduced in this snapshot is new pig variants. Of course, there is the original pig, which is now called the temperate pig. But if we go and find ourselves a desert, or really just any biome listed as warm, we can find ourselves... Oh, I guess a desert wasn't hot enough. But a savanna definitely is. Then we can find ourselves a warm pig. Take a look at that. Nice, new texture. Nothing changed about the drops of them or their behavior. Just a new texture. Now, if we were to go and find ourselves a cold biome, such as a snowy taiga, then if we teleport ourselves over there, then we can find my favorite of the 3 pig variants, the cold pig. It has this cute shaggy fur. I love it. It's so funny. Hello. Now those were just a few of the things that were introduced in that snapshot. There was some extra functionality to those things that I showed off, but those were just the biggest items that were added. And closer to the end of the month, we had another ambient update. If we were to find ourselves a plains biome and teleport straight to it, then we may, if we're lucky, be able to find ourselves the new bush block right here. Now this is pretty similar to short grass. You can just, place it on the ground, just like the short grass. But one thing that I find interesting about these blocks, you can put short grass... Okay, I was wrong. You can't put short grass into a flower pot, but you can't put bushes into a flower pot either. I think I was actually thinking of the fern, which you can put into a flower pot, but bush, no, you cannot. You can't place it on the ground, though, and it looks kind of similar to short grass, and kind of like a fern. It's kind of in between the two. Now, another thing that was introduced in this snapshot was that cows got the same variant treatment as the pigs. Here's the temperate cow, which, if you can see, has a snout poking out of it a little bit, which it did not have before. Oh, I think this was the area I was at before. Cool. Yep, there's our shaggy pig down there. Hey. We can find ourselves, finally, the cold cow with these cool little horns. And if we were to teleport ourselves to the desert, which does not work, and we were to fly over to the savannah and find our warm pig here, then we can find our warm cow, which looks kind of similar to our cold cow, but yeah, it's still fun. I love these little ambient changes. They're pretty cool. I think they're going to be really fun to see in game eventually. Alright, for our next change, it just turns to nighttime here, which is going to fit the theme perfectly. So I couldn't find one anywhere around here, but there is a new item called the Firefly bush. And if you put one of these on the ground during the night, then it will begin to spawn the new fireflies, which are not 2 pixels. They are just 1 pixel, which I don't think 2 pixels would really fit at all. And plus, this 1 pixel design fits the animated texture of the bush anyway. Now, this bush actually emits a light level of 2, but it's barely noticeable. Now, if you start to move away, the particles do eventually disappear. So it's just more of an ambient thing than an actual functional thing. Oh wait, I just found a wild one over here. Well, that would have been nice to find earlier. So you can see all the particles spawning in around them. Now, if we were to set the time to day, the particles would disappear. Yep, there they all go. And our leaves are starting to fall again. I don't think they ever stopped, but they're more noticeable now that it's bright. That's a lot of creepers. Is this like a creeper party or something? Now, if we were to encase these bushes, then they are able to be tricked into thinking that it is nighttime, and they will begin to spit out their particles again, which is interesting. And if this is a bug, I really hope that they don't fix that, because being able to create particles on demand is such a great feature to have when building, because it gives you so much power over your worlds, and it lets you create a bunch of really cool effects. Now, if we were to go into options, go into controls, and turn on the operator items tag, as long as we are in creative, in the operator items tab, which has always been here before, we can find these new test blocks. There's the test instance block, and these 4 states of the normal test block. So this test instance block just lets you run tests, which is actually used by Mojang developers to test their code. Like, they have a world that they basically use with a bunch of different tests that get run, and whenever they add a new feature to the game or change something, then they go and take a look at that testing world to see if it broke anything. And you can use these test blocks to take a look, like run functions and stuff, to see if anything broke. So you can use the kind of thing that Mojang developers use. And if we place that on this test block, we can cycle through the modes. Like log mode is that, fail mode is the X, and accept mode is the check mark. And you can see with these dialog boxes, start mode, the starting point for a test. Log mode logs a message, which just logs a message into your game files. Fail mode is the mode that it'll go into when it fails a test, and accept mode is the mode that it goes into when it succeeds part of a test set by a test instance block. Oh yeah, and it's basically like the structure block in Bedrock Edition, where you can like set an area for it to go through. So yeah, that's cool, I guess. Alright, so if you use the command that is on screen right now, you can give yourself a sword that you can block with. This used to be a feature back in, like, prior to 1.9, and if we switch ourselves into survival mode right here, and go ahead and summon a husk, it'll try to attack us, and it does that much damage, right? If we block with our sword, it'll block the attack, but it'll use the durability from the sword to do so. And we can block and hit the husk at the same time. And yeah, this used to be a feature back in, like, prior to the combat update of 1.9. So yeah, I'm glad that this is added back in as, like, a kind of feature, but, like, not really. So yeah, there were also some movement bugs. So, like, this was really important for speedrunning and parkour. If you tried to... I'm really bad at bridging, but, like, if you tried to basically diagonal... Ugh, I cannot do this. If you tried to, like, basically bridge like this, but faster, you wouldn't be able to. If you tried to bridge like this, but faster, since you're holding down both the S and either D or A keys, then you weren't able to do that, because there used to be some movement bugs in the game that allowed this to be possible. That pretty much... Oh, oops. Well, my recording software, I guess, just didn't want me to keep talking. So yeah, the movement bug just stopped that from happening. And yeah, that was all the stuff on the list. So I will see you next month. See ya!